from way up there in Newcastle, way down there in Kuala Lumpur, way over there in Liverpool, way back over here in Frankfurt. We just love you so much. I don't know, like you probably don't feel it. So this is not a feeling thing, but God is birthing something new. Like I'm not trying to get you to, can you feel it? I really don't give a rip about whether you feel it or not. But God is, and I've got to look at the camera sometimes too, right? That God is doing something new. Now, new means you've never experienced before. New means no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no nose has smelt the scent. It's just new. Like you don't even know what new is. Because what is new? You know, news like an iPhone to someone 40 years ago. Like, what is that? You know, when I used to phone up my mum at university, I used to have to, go to the payphone and ring up the operator and say, reverse charges, thank you. And reverse charges was a godsend to every student because your mum's obliged to say yes. She doesn't want to, she might not have the money, but she's obliged to say, all right then, incoming call, just in case something's gone tragically wrong. But who would have thought? That's new. And because God's birthing something new, you don't know what new is, but as fresh as. You haven't even experienced it. You won't know what it's like until it comes. But it's coming. Every one of you, every location of Hope City Church, something new is on its way. You can't hear it. You can't smell it. You can't touch it. But it's coming. God is birthing something new for you and through you and around you. Because God is the God of new. Everyone say new. Isaiah describes it in geographical terms because he had no iPhone. And this is what he said in Isaiah 43. I'm making a way in the wilderness. And I'm making streams in the wasteland. Well, what is that? There are no streams in the wasteland. It's desert. There's cactus there, but there are no streams. He's describing something that goes beyond the realms of possibility. It just doesn't happen. And there's something in your life that's about to happen that just doesn't happen. Everybody said to you, that just can't happen. Well, that's new then. Because if people think that it could happen, it means it has happened, which means it's not new. It's just renewed. This is new. Streams in wastelands is new. So what's impossible for you? Because it would have to be in the realms of what's impossible for you. Because what's possible has probably already taken place. So it had to be in the realms of impossibility. What is it? What is it in the realms of your impossibility? What is it? Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of things in the bag of impossibility, but it's something from that bag. What is it that people are saying that can't be done? What is it that needs reviving? What is it that you've lost? What is it that you yearn for? Because God's birthing something totally and absolutely new. He's doing a new thing. He's doing a new thing. It's not an old thing revisited. It's a brand spanking new thing. This is how Isaiah frames it in 43, verse 18 and 19. It says, forget the former things. How difficult is that? Don't dwell on the past. Really? See? Doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Really? Do you not perceive it? Not really. Because if it just happened or it comes with bells and whistles, we wouldn't have a need to be told to forget the former things and to perceive it. So this thing ain't got bells and whistles. You cannot hear the engine of it. It's not coming with a warning sign. It's not coming with a drum roll. This is for us to set up in anticipation, in faith. Forget the former things. Don't dwell any longer on the past. Because this thing doesn't happen by instant access. This thing happens by the birthing process. Welcome to the way the kingdom works. You think it's instant, God says it's birthing. There is a difference between instant and birthing. God is moving your world from order into chaos in order to create a higher order. This eruption is the deliverance of a baby. This disturbance means not that everything is going to pot. It means that everything is going to baby. It feels the same. Travail feels the same. Chaos feels the same. But this is the chaos of new birth. It's not the chaos of destruction. Stop that. Get into what God's doing. Nothing goes from order to higher order. Nobody goes from summer to summer. Everything in life goes from order to chaos. English football. Back to, fingers crossed, a higher order. That's the way of birth. That you move from just the two of you in the family. And it's highly ordered. And it's lovely. But you actually want more. You actually want bigger, more beautiful. You actually want an expansion on this. And so you move into chaos. And from chaos comes a larger family. From chaos comes bigger. Who gets bigger without chaos? Nobody. You've got to reinterpret what chaos means. It doesn't mean the end, and it doesn't mean destruction. It means the birthing. It's the birthing process. And it's driving you mad. The only side of you that likes chaos is your spirit man. Because it knows this is the kingdom of God. A seed has to die, almost break itself apart in order to spring forth a mighty. Your spirit man knows that. Deep down inside of you, you know this stuff. But see, spirit man's just one part of you. Every other man inside of you hates it. Because we want stability. We're creatures of it. It's part of the survival of the species. We want stability. We want order. Where's order found? In the past. Why does the Bible say forget? Because it's saying forget about the former order. Forget about the former things. I'm doing a new thing. Don't dwell, because you're dwelling back to the time when everything was nicely in order. It was in order, but it was too small for you. It was in order, but you weren't satisfied with that order. You wanted more. Your spirit man says, give me more. Give me the mountain. Give me the future. Give me Canaan. You weren't satisfied, but parts of you were satisfied. Because parts of you are satisfied with order, and some people die in order, but with no growth and no development, no substance. Just they've got order, but it's like an ordered cemetery. That's what's been happening. But there's a longing back. You know, some of you are planting trees in the cemetery. Some of you are going for long walks in. So the Bible says, don't do it. Stop it. Because your future isn't found in the cemetery. And everyone was looking for Jesus in the cemetery. He wasn't there. He wasn't in the cemetery. He was out of the cemetery. You know, we hate chaos because it's something that we have no control over. You control freaks. If God had a target, it's on your control freakery. Because that's the human side. Nothing happens in order. There's no miracles in order. No babies are born from a life of order. Zero. You don't want order. You want a higher order. That's what you want. You want chaos. But you hate it. That's why I'm preaching to you. Got a love-hate relationship with life, don't we? Come on, sit on the couch, lie back. You love life, you hate life, don't you? You hate life, you love life. Yeah, well, this is the growth curve. This is what you dreamed of. It's just that no one goes from summer to summer. Yeah, I don't know why I worked for a concrete selling company. I don't know why I did it. I just did. Maybe because I did civil engineering, I became like a civil engineer, but I didn't actually know anything about civil engineering thanks to Xerox and all my friends. So I kind of got a clearing job, and it was with management with a concrete making company. And I just spent a lot, like a year and a half, just driving over the ranges on the interior of Australia and the outback of Australia, just looking for people that might want to use some concrete. So anyway, I was coming back. I think the sun was shining. It was like late afternoon. I thought and for a guy, one of the enjoyments of that kind of job is just driving. Like guys love driving, don't they? It's just cave time, driving. What are you doing? Driving. Do you play golf, Dave? No, I just drive. It's just, there's something really good about driving, you know? And I was driving, and it was a dusty road, it was a single lane dusty, and I'm driving, you know? And suddenly I come over a brow of a hill, and there is a truck, a Mack truck, right in front of me. And I slam on the brakes. And if ever you've been in an accident, it's always slow-mo. It's slow motion. All of us want it done quickly. I want to die quickly. I don't want to watch myself dying. But it somehow it turns into slow motion. Just, foot on the brake, doing nothing. Turning the steering wheel, doing nothing. Just praying, doing nothing. It's just nothing's happening. And just slowly, I collided with the front of the truck. Now, as you notice today, a little bit of brain damage, but generally the rest of me is okay. But that's chaos. That's chaos. You've got no control. That's what chaos is. That's why you hate it. That's why you want to remember the former things. That's why you want to dwell on the past, because you hate the feeling of being out of control. But you're going to have to control that feeling. You're going to have to discipline that feeling. Otherwise, you'll stay in the realm of yesteryear. And you'll never move into the future that God has for you. God wants to take you beyond your limits, in a place of uncertainty, where you feel the ice cracking under your feet. I suspect it's a horrible feeling. But it's figurative for each one of you right now. What is that? It's just the ice cracking under your feet. Well, no wonder it invokes stabs of fear. And no wonder your days and your weeks are pitted with stabs of fear. Because every time the ice cracks, you interpret that as the worst. Yet when God hears the waters break, He interprets that as the coming of a child. Thanks. Slightly late, but thank you. Fear is simply a projection that something's about to go horribly wrong. Yet, nothing could be further from the truth. There's a dismantling of your former ways going on right now. Dismantling of your former relationships, dismantling of former dreams, dismantling of former familiarities. That is not the end. That is the beginning. This is the beginning. Stare fear down. Say, this is not the end. This is the beginning. That crack is the waters breaking. Stare the devil down. But don't fall into his lap. Don't retract. Don't go backwards. Because God is doing. He is doing a brand new thing. In every location of Hope City Church. In every person within every location. Every one of you. Your chaos is the birthing canal between conception and presentation. Here's your child. Have you ever seen a child before? Never. Never. I'm just showing you just a crummy x-ray. Just showing you there's a heartbeat in there. I'm not showing you the color of the hair. I'm not showing you the personality. Who knows? It's just impossibility becoming possible. That's what you do need to know. Order is everything familiar. It's the sound of the birds. It's the smell of the forest. It's the touch of the hand. It's that voice, that valley, that attachment. The longing for everyone in chaos to get back to the good old days. Got 2 words for you. Don't stop. We're coming out of order into chaos. Don't stop. Don't analyze. Don't stop. Let's keep on going. Let's move through the chaos and move into a higher order, a bigger, brighter, better future, and something we've never, ever experienced before. Don't stop. Don't look back. Don't linger. Don't slouch. Hello, slouchers. Don't slouch. Don't retreat. Don't curl up in fetal position. Stop it. That's why the great promise and the call of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12 began with, the Lord said to Abraham, leave your country, your people, your father's household to a land I will show you. Why? Because new things aren't born in familiarity. So there. You long for the good old days. They weren't as good as you think. People think the music back in the 80s was good. Not when you listen to it now. Life was never as good as it just about will be. Because God does new things. When Abraham got this promise, all of his ancestors, bar Noah, were still alive. The biggest reason why people die in a cemetery is because all of their family are living there. That's why Jesus gave a stiff rebuke of love to one of the three men who wanted to follow him in Luke chapter 9, verse 61-62. He said, still another said, I'll follow you, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family. Well, Jesus kind of knew something. The moment he saw his family, to say goodbye to his family, he'd remain with his family. That's the power of your past. It stings more people than you could ever realize. Out of all of humanity, it stops the progression of God. And Jesus said, out of the compulsion of the kingdom of heaven, whoever puts his hand to the plow and looks back just ain't fit for this birthing process. It riled him. He was serious about that. Another guy said, well, just first let me see my dad. He's not very well, right? And Jesus said, no, listen, that'll be dealt with in another time with other people. Let's go. And I suspect that if he'd said, yeah, let's go, Jesus, because he's kind, he would have, jumped by the hospital of Jerusalem and healed his dad. But out of the two of them, one had a more deadly philosophy. First, let me go back a few steps. That's a deadly philosophy that crushes the kingdom of heaven, doesn't advance the kingdom of heaven. You know this. Deep inside of you, every word that I've spoken, you know. You know this. You know it. You just know it. That's absolute truth. I know that. Well, you're a complicated person. I'm just trying to get all of the emotions on top of it to register it. For some, your chaos has been brought on by you. Even you were sick of things. The one that did the kick wasn't Satan. You kicked. Because you thought this place is too small. You thought this is too restrictive. You thought you were sick of small living, of breathing small. You were sick of patting the lion and caressing the bear instead of killing them. So finally you kicked them all over and said, enough is enough. Well, may I say, good on you. You got to hate something to change something. This idea that we just love ourselves, sometimes the best thing you can do is hate yourself. Because it just means that something is going to change. You've got to amass a degree of momentum to ever go on a successful diet. And the words that you always use before you go on the successful diet isn't, I love myself. Oh, look at me. It's always, I hate myself. But it's hate in reference to love. It's hate in reference to, I'm about to do something about this. So congratulations to every one of you who have kicked over the bucket of restriction. This is a good day. Sure, all hell's broken loose, but you're the one that created the hell. It's not the devil in the storm. You are the storm. You've decided to become the storm. But don't stop. You set off this chain reaction. The world wants the person it used to know, not the person that it doesn't know. The world wants you a part of their history, not somebody outside of their history. Don't stop. Nobody wants your future. Because we want you to be a part of the frozen Kodak picture of our past. Even your parents want that Kodak picture. Don't expect the world to erupt in spontaneous praise when you say, I'm out of here. Because everybody loved you in there. You getting out of there reminds them of unfulfilled dreams, reminds them of the straitjacket is small. So don't expect even your best friends and at times even your spouse to say, I'm just going to stand on the bed and give you a standing ovation. Because even though you might have used to been horrible, at least it was predictable horribility. Because your allegiance to predictable is stronger than your hate for horrible. That's why you put up with horrible. So congratulations to every one of you who just rose up like King Kong. But stop, don't move into self-pity. You started this, so see it through to the very end. You got yourself pregnant. So see this thing through to the very end, because you wanted to move from small to big. You wanted to move from a lower order to a higher order. Am I preaching brilliantly? God hasn't given you a spirit of fear, He's given you faith. Faith like a sword. Don't leave home without it. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the confidence in what we hope for, the assurance of what we do not see. Don't lose your confidence. Don't lose your confidence. Don't lose it. Don't waste it. Don't throw it away. The only reason they got through the Red Sea was because of faith. That's the only reason. It's faith. Faith broke, suspended gravitational force. That's how powerful faith is. The only reason why Jericho started to fall was because of faith. The only reason why Goliath fell was because of faith. The only reason why Lazarus got up to live a second part of his life was because of faith. Faith's your most priceless asset. It's a confidence that you are who God says you are. It's a confidence that He will do what He says He'll do. It's a confidence that He is who He says He is. And every day, you're going to put on the armory of God, pick up the sword of God. So I am confident that every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God is yes and amen. About me, about Him, about the future. It's confidence. Confidence. Put on, don't slouch. What are you doing? Denying your godly nature. Don't slouch. Come on, upright. Upright, because the just shall live not by fear, just to live by faith. What are you doing? Slouching. Slouching doesn't belong to saints. It belongs to your earthly nature, but not to your spiritual nature. Stop it. Some of you just stop being naughty. The reason why they ran out of wine at the wedding in Canaan was because they had too many guests. It was a stitch up to run out of wine. Because only when you run out that God steps in. It's only when you reach chaos of epic proportions. This is a wedding and we've run out. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Can't you perceive it? It doesn't come with information. There's an intuition within you. Within you. I'll just finish just talking about the mystery of chaos. Sometimes our chaos is because we've actually been stupid. And it's a little bit of responsibility. Our stupidity is kind of come back at us. We've done stupid things and made stupid financial decisions, stupid relational decisions, and all hell breaks loose, right? But even in the midst of that backlash, God's in it. Because God's intent is always to make you a bigger person. And his intent is always to do bigger things. So even in the discipline of life, coming back at you for something irresponsible you did to it, God's even in that storm. But let me just move all that aside and say that for a lot of you, it's just simply a mystery. The chaos, it has no rhyme, it has no reason. Like Job, it's just come on you. And despite his 3 besties saying that it's payback from an angry God, it was actually a chaos brought on by God. Why? Because God is a heavenly midwife. And his job is to birth new things. So you forgot that about God. You thought God's just chairman, God's just boss, God's just distant. No. He's a midwife. He's a heavenly midwife. He's been doing new things since he created the heavens and the earth. This is the final outcome for Job. Job 42. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice. Everyone say twice. Twice as much as he had before. The Lord blessed the latter part of his life more than the former part of his life. Ta-da! If I could do jazz hands and do a little river dance right now, I'd probably do one if I could slip on a Michael Flatley outfit. I'll slip it on right now. He's a midwife. He's your midwife. This is the only thing that Job did wrong. He tried to understand. He spent all this time trying to figure it out, talk, figure it out. I mean, how boring is the book of Job? Have you ever read the book of Job? I mean, there's some priceless things in there. For example, God will rescue from 6 calamities. From the 7th, no harm will befall you. There's an end date to chaos. There's some amazing promises in there. But there's blah, 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 blah. 43 chapters of blah, 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 blah. That's the problem with you. You've come out of wisdom and you've gone into blah, blah. What, why, who, when, where. And then the pivotal point in Job is when God decides to speak. He says, shut up, besties. And then God said, Job 38, 1-3, then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. Even that, he spoke out. What's he doing in the storm? Because it's his storm. Your storm is his storm. He's not behind you. He's not beside you. He's in the storm. He's the 4th man in the fire, the first man to walk on water, the man who gave the final word, these bones shall live. Then he says, who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Who is this? And then he says in verse 16, have you journeyed to the springs of the sea and walked in the recesses of the deep? That'll do. And his answer is, I don't think I've had the breathing apparatus to go down to the recesses of the deep. So the answer is, nope. And God says, shut it then. Stop trying to analyze something that has no analysis. Just shut it. And then finally Job comes through. In Job 42, verse 2-6, he has full revelations. Number one, Jesus is Lord. He said, I know that you can do all things. Secondly, Jesus is victor. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. Thirdly, Jesus knows. Surely I spoke about things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me. And number four, Jesus is here. My eyes have heard you. My ears have heard you, but now my eyes have seen you. Then he just said, sorry, Lord. Gathered his friends, fixed up the relationship, and then God blessed the latter part of his life more than the former. Stop your cognitive process. It's ruining you. Stop the blah, 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 blah. Shut your besties up. This is holy territory. Stop the yapping in your mind and move from cognitive understanding back to faith. Faith's faith. I believe it. I believe. I'm confident that what God said he'd do, he'll do. He'll never let me go. He's not just beside me, he's actually in front of me. He's not just on top of the storm, he's actually in the storm. Let me say goodbye to everyone in all the locations of Hope City Church. Give you back to your location pastors.